Welcome in. This is the Second Cut Golf Podcast. My name is Rick Gehman. This is your RBC Heritage recap episode. Greg DuCharme is here. Greg, oh my God, years are off my life after watching that final round.
Oh my, what a week is certainly applicable yet again, Rick. I know you had some interest in this one. It was really fun to watch. And I don't know who's counting, if anybody is, but the Second Cut podcast is 2 for 2 in outrights.
Wow.
We've had both winners. Just a little fun stat to track. Well, maybe we'll have to stop tracking this soon, but we're off to a good start.
But for now, tracking is going very well.
Yes.
And we will update you when it's not going so well. And we'll see how that goes. But my goodness, I mean, a playoff. So we'll run through this whole thing, but we get a playoff. It comes down to the wire. Two guys who were running away from the rest of the field. It's actually a shame that both of them couldn't win, but Justin Thomas does end the nearly 3-year winless drought and showed a little bit of emotion afterwards.
Yes. And look, this is some players, like I got a sense when Russell Henley won the Arnold Palmer Invitational that he was just kind of lucky to be out here playing and didn't view himself as a top 10 player in the world. And, it was very, he was almost in a way surprised that he won. Where Justin Thomas and some other players on the PGA Tour, certainly not all of them, he really wants to and expects to win. It's something we've seen in Netflix Full Swing series over the 3 seasons. He expects to win. Yeah. And when he's not, he wonders what's wrong. And there was a year, Rick, where he really struggled with his game, and it was understandable that he wasn't winning. He missed the FedEx Cup playoffs. He was clearly not playing well. But all last year, he played really well. At least in long spurts, he played great golf. He's played great golf this year and hasn't been able to get the job done or even really get in contention. Now he gets himself in serious contention and gets the job done.
He and Colin Morikawa were probably the 2 best players in 2024 who did not win a golf tournament. Obviously, Scottie and Rory and Xander suck up a lot of those, but those by far those 2. And JT is off the schneid. Real quick announcements before we get deep into the heart of this. If you're watching this on the Rick Run Good YouTube channel, this will be the last time. You will not get another opportunity to watch this on, well, maybe, I don't know. Anything is possible, Greg. As Jay Monahan would say, everything's on the table. But for the most part, there will be no more simulcast. So go over to the Second Cut YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed there. It's available on all your podcasting feeds. The other thing we didn't talk about, Greg, before we get into this is we have been shadow banned from YouTube for our behavior recently. What do you think about that?
Well, I guess we were very, very bad. In one way or another. I'm not sure what it did. We didn't really do anything, too unique. I know that some of the people on Twitter were saying it was because of my, my extreme views on time zones and the lunar calendar, right. Which I understand. Right. I'm a big believer, in case you missed it, since we got shadow banned for it, I'll risk saying it again.
Oh, great.
It should not be the year of the snake. This should be the year of the monkey. Which also has to do with Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy last week. And there should be no time zones. That is probably why we got banned.
What I did not tell everyone is I was the one who reported it because of that take. I thought it was an
inside job.
It was an inside job. Yeah. So I reported us to YouTube. We've been taken down. No, we think we have gotten it ironed out for the future. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out if this lives past another 12 hours or so. But let's get the leaderboard back up here because it was splendid. Let me get this. There she is. So Justin Thomas now breaks through for his first win in 3 years. He becomes the first player in 2025 to lead after the first round and win this golf tournament. Greg, 10 under par after round number 1, 17 under par gets you into a playoff. How would you assess Justin Thomas's play over the course of the weekend and particularly on Sunday to get this thing 2 extra holes?
So pretty interesting. We talked about this on Friday night. Justin Thomas needs to shoot 68-68. That's 3 under both days. That's taking care of the par fives and playing everything else even par. We both thought if he did that, 18 under would be very hard to catch. He gets to 17 under, and all of a sudden he ends up in a playoff. So we were pretty much right on the button with that. On Sunday, Rick, he didn't get number 2. He got the other par fives that he needed to get and added a bonus at number 8. And he was bogey free. It was near flawless. So I absolutely love what I saw out of Justin Thomas. I love what he did off the tee today. He didn't find nearly as much trouble as he did during Saturday's round.
Yeah.
There was one, on 16, Rick, he got a little left on him and it was a little dicey, but he ends up with a clean shot at the green. He gave himself, with his tee shots, clean shots at the green. And as a result, he hit a ton of greens. I know the stats say he hit 12 of 18 greens, but I think he putted on 4 or 5 of them from off the green because they were really close to the edge. There was one on 7. He was in a bunker. That's the only one I remember him actually. I guess 7 and 4, where he was on the bulkhead, are the 2 where he actually take a wedge.
Oh my God. Okay. So there's so much to unwrap here. So first off, Justin Thomas and I, not simpatico on driver strategy. The only hole that I want him to hit driver on is 9. Guess the hole that he laid up on today. 9, didn't make birdie there. Couldn't even barely hold the greens. They were so firm and fast from like 85 yards with a wedge in hand. But the ability to scramble, Greg, and that scrambling is 2 things. You got to get up, you got to get down. Okay, 2-part process. The ability for him to get out of trouble, 7, where him and Maverick McNeely both made unbelievable pars from where they were. Justin Thomas was basically right up against the bulkhead behind the green. And then so many 5, 6, 7 foot putts for par that keep this sheet clean. Otherwise, we're not talking about a playoff. We're not talking about Justin Thomas ending this drought. It was gut-wrenching to be a backer of him. I'm sure the stress was immense for him out there, but he got the job done.
There were 5 holes in a row on the front 9, Rick, where he made putts right in that range that have plagued Justin Thomas over the past 3 years, and probably more. But you look, it's number 4. He makes from 8 feet. That's the one where he was up against the bulkhead, wooden up and down.
Sorry, what was that, number 4?
Yeah, that number 4.
Sorry, I thought it was 7. My bad.
7 was the other par 3. Where he hit it in the bunker. But 5, he's got a 7-footer. He makes it. A 6 foot 10 inch putt at number 7, makes it. 8, 8 feet 2 inches. I'm sorry, that's 7 is 8 feet 2 inches. 8 is 13 feet. So right in that range, 5 holes in a row from 6 feet to 13 feet. He makes putts in that zone that in the past, there's no way he's making all of those. Getting through there 5 for 5, the way Justin Thomas had been putting the past couple of years, he's missing at least one of those.
2 things. Obviously, Joe Griner's on the bag now. Max Homa's old caddy. This is their second start together. I would venture to say it will continue, Greg.
Well, it makes this situation a lot more challenging. The plan was this was not like a permanent move. Matt Minister hurt his back. And so Griner stepped in for him at the Masters. I guess his back wasn't ready. So he comes in here and now he wins. So this gets, it could get a little awkward per se, but this worked.
I mean, how do you go away from that? But my point being that it looked as if Joe Griner was incredibly involved in reading of the putts this week. And the other thing that I've not seen Justin Thomas do before, and I want to see if you noticed this or if I'm making it up, when he was standing over a putt, you could see his eyes and his head trace the line of the putt, which is not something I had ever seen him do before. And I watched him do it obviously all week long. And I'm wondering now if that was something they talked about this, kind of putting lesson or putting discussion that he had with Xander Schauffele recently. I'm wondering if that's something he's picked up at some point here in the short term, because I've never seen him really do that before.
Oh, it's a really keen observation, Rick, because this is one of the key points to look at when you're assessing someone in their putting stroke. Now, not everybody is going to trace the line, but a line putter needs to trace the whole line with their eyes. A spot putter can, like Cam Smith is my favorite example of a spot putter, because his eyes will jump up to the spot he's aiming at and he'll stare at it.
He stares at it.
He stares. He's like looking through that one spot. He's not tracing the line. But if you're a line putter, but your eyes are working like a spot putter, it can be a mix-up, right? You can start to miss a portion of the line. It's a very difficult thing to do if you've ever tried it. It's very easy to lose your focus and get a little sloppy or a little lazy with the movement of your eyes. I think the best example of it that comes to my mind is just Jason Day. Jason Day is very deliberate with his the way that his eyes work. So it's a good observation, Rick. It's something that clearly has helped Justin Thomas. He gained strokes every day putting this week. You mentioned those must makes that he has poured in. Something you and I have talked a lot about as well is he had a huge tendency to miss to the right.
Yes.
And that seems to be gone.
Yeah, he picks up 5.5 strokes putting for the week, third in the field. He gets himself into a playoff after kind of a dodgy drive on 18, but luckily that's like an 85-yard wide fairway, so he gets away with it in regulation. He hits it to about 20 feet in the playoff. Andrew Novak, who we'll get to in a second, had already missed his birdie putt, and Justin Thomas, they had the worm cam out there. This thing was dead center from the start. It was solid. It was end over end. It was a video game putt right in the middle.
You really could tell pretty early on that he made it.
I was relaying the message to Armina from another room, and obviously I'm highly invested in Justin Thomas, so I didn't want to jinx it, but as soon as it came off his face, I'm like, that's it. He has absolutely made this.
It's rare that you can tell. But it's a comfortable green, right? It's a very subtle break. It breaks casually kind of the whole way. It had perfect pace on it. It wasn't dripping pace where as those greens got a little crispy, it could wiggle. It was fast enough to avoid those wiggles, and it went right in the middle. It's rare that you see a putt from that distance that looks like it's going in immediately, and that did. And he was on a different line than he was in regulation. It was not the same putt, slightly different angle.
Think about this. The difference in Justin Thomas winning or losing this playoff. Losing this playoff, the 3-year drought continues. He's continually mired in whatever this slump is. He just got beat by Andrew Novak. No offense, Andrew's been great this year. We'll talk about that in just a second. And he did it in a week where he set the course record or tied the course record, shot a 61 on Thursday, and probably felt like he should have won this golf tournament. Instead, Justin Thomas overcomes calling a penalty on himself. He ends a 3-year winless drought, just on the verge of heading back to a PGA championship at a place that he has already won, and all is good in the world.
There's been a lot of conversation about him this week because he's been right up there in the mix. And a lot of people have been wondering, like, all these course records that he has. He holds 9 course records, or a share of a course record on the PGA Tour, which is just incredible. But people are like, well, he's great at meaningless rounds of golf. Great. He can go really low and it doesn't count, but he can't put 4 rounds together. A lot of naysayers. And you're right if you say he hasn't been able to put 4 rounds together. You're wrong if you say he can't. Because those are 2 very different things. So he kind of takes all those people and silences the critics, if you will, with this, because it's a really strong field. And this is something that you really got to pay attention to. You have players like Scottie Scheffler and Collin Morikawa and Ludvig all in this field. And whether they made it to Sunday, made it to the playoff or not, this was a loaded field. Xander Schauffele was playing as well. Everybody but Rory McIlroy, and he beat them all. So really, really impressive stuff.
Well, we're gonna continue to pod through here. I will remind everyone that this show is free. It's always going to be free. We're going to continue to put it out there. If you want to support with your patronage, we do have a Patreon. We've got cool stuff on there. Greg or Mark will break down your swing. There's a pathway to merch. We're still trying to get all this stuff figured out, but we are going to have to figure out money at some point. But that is something that we are working on. So let's pod through here for a second here, Greg, because Andrew Novak. I want to be clear here. Justin Thomas and Andrew Novak finished this at 17 under par. That was 3 shots better than everybody else in the field. Andrew Novak has now put together a T3 at the Texas Open, a 3rd place finish at the Farmers earlier this year. He played well at Genesis the 2nd time they went back to Farmers, and now another close call. Still looking for the first victory, but Novak is no joke.
That's right. He is no joke. He also came in 2nd in the fall in Bermuda. So, that's 4 top 3 finishes in the last 6 months or so. Really, really impressive stuff. When he gets in, when he gets going, gets on the leaderboard, he can really play. But even though he didn't end up winning this tournament, he took a huge step. If you look at his statistics this year on the PGA Tour, he's 165th in round 4 scoring average. And those events that I mentioned, Rick, he shot 71 on Sunday in Bermuda. He shot 74 Sunday at the Farmers and 76 Sunday at the Valero Texas Open. It was clear. It was very clear that getting into contention was something that was a difficult thing, a challenge for Andrew Novak. And while he didn't win today, going out there and shooting 68, making the putts that he did in the final group, giving himself 8 feet for the win on the 72nd hole. That kind of stuff goes a long way.
Maybe a little nervy putt on the 72nd hole. No,
it was a terrible putt.
It was brutal. And I couldn't believe it. Again, I was relaying the message to Armino across the house, and at the second it came off his club face, I was like, oh my God, he jacked it. He straight jacked it. What I did like, though, is he didn't stray from the routine. Right. Andrew Novak, he played fast. He gets in there and he goes. It did not seem, obviously, outside of maybe that jetpack that he put into one on the 72nd hole, he seemed like he was handling the moment just fine.
He was in control of his emotions. No, he was fighting. You could tell, like it was very intense, and it meant a lot to him. And he's a kind of has a home game, if you will, kind of a home game. Went to Wofford from Raleigh, North Carolina. A lot of friends and family around watching him this week, which I would love to think that helped. It doesn't always help, though. Sometimes things can go the other way in that situation. But for a guy who struggles on the greens, he made some really key putts, too. He made some early, made a nice 7-footer at 2. He made a 4-footer for par at number 1, another 5.5-footer at number 5 for birdie, which those are putts that we've seen him miss before. And in some cases, these were pretty nervy moments. 11 was huge. This is really the story of Andrew Novak today. 11, he's got a chip out sideways and then knocks it on the green to 14 feet and makes it. That was a huge putt. He hit a tree at 12. It bounced back in the fairway. He hit another tree at 13.
Yes, he
bounced back in the fairway. Rick, those things could have gone out of bounds for the same price.
I know, Greg. I know. I could not believe my eyes. I'm going, this guy is going to just dart these trees 50 yards right, get him to kick back into the fairway and win this golf tournament right now. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. It's nice to have a one-way miss, if you will. It's clear Andrew Novak does. But when you get on some of these tight corridors, it doesn't matter which way you're missing. It's not comfortable. But he was able to hang in there, hang around, get himself around the greens, get up and down when he had to, control his speed, knock in on 16, he makes a 17-footer, huge birdie there.
Oh my God,
kind of out of nowhere. You must have been going nuts.
Yes, I was crying in the fetal position in the corner. Yes.
He gets a little aggressive on 17. It goes that putt went a solid 4 feet by. Makes the comebacker. You know, these are the numbers are not astonishing when you look at them, but when you put the situation on top of them, the number of those grinded out kind of putts he made, I think it was a big step for him.
Let me give you the numbers, in fact. So Andrew Novak's strokes gained week, plus 2.1 off the tee. That was 11th. Plus 3.3 on approach. That was 9th. Plus 3.3 around the green. That's 4th. And then a stroke and a half, a little bit more, with the putter, 22nd. So 22nd or better in all 4 strokes gained categories. Is that what Andrew Novak is? What I mean, I tend to think he's I guess kind of close to this. Maybe this is above his baseline in the short game stuff, but we've seen that he's a pretty good ball striker.
Pretty good ball striker. You know, it's interesting. Last year, he seemed to be much more consistent with his ball striking.
Yeah.
This year, he hasn't been great every week, but in the weeks that he hits it well, he's finished in the top 3. You know, it's that kind of a thing that he has going on, which is it's a strange thing. Last year, he played some pretty consistent golf with some nice top 10 finishes. Now, this year, we're seeing he's looking like a popper, as I call him, guys that just pop up on the leaderboard periodically throughout the year, and they don't finish very well in all the other events. It's kind of what it's seeming like for him. I'm fascinated by the ball striking because, you know, he only hit 43 greens in regulation. Now, the last 5 winners here, they all hit 48 or more, and 4 of them hit 50. Justin Thomas hit 50 greens. That would have been a huge, if he had won this tournament, it would have been a real big fall off for winners here, which does speak to your short game. So I think we're above baseline with the putting. He gained strokes putting every day, although less than a stroke every day. But only 98 putts, total putts for the week. So they're very peculiar stats, in my opinion.
I want to get to some more players here. I'm going to reset us. We're not going on break. We don't have any breaks around here. So we're going to continue to roll on. Let me just get you some of the rounds of the day here, Gregor. So we've got, how about this one? How about, nope, not that one. How about this one? Bud Cauley's 64 is the round of the day. A 7 under par round gets him into 7 under for the tournament up to 32nd. The other 3 rounds were not the best for Bud Cauley this week, but that is a name that we have spoken about early and often here in 2025 as he continues to play easily the best golf of his career.
Oh, this was a stripe show. I mean, he hit 11 of 14 greens, 11 of 14 fairways, 16 of 18 greens. He was second for the day in strokes gained approach. Only made 63 feet of putts to shoot that 64. Really impressive stuff. And it's kind of like what we've seen out of Bud Cauley all year. Earlier in the week, he struggled getting the ball in play a little bit. And I think that's really what held him back in his opening 2 rounds. He hit 7 fairways both those days. And sometimes that just makes it impossible to find the greens when you're hitting it into the trees. So really, really nice finish for Bud Cauley, and gives me hope going forward that we weren't wrong on him.
T6 at the Players, T4 at the Valspar, T5 at the Texas Open, did not play the Masters, and then 3 kind of mediocre rounds before going absolutely ham and cheese on Sunday here this week at Harbor Town. The second best round of the day, those were the 6 unders at which is a 65. There were a couple of them, Patrick Rogers, Christian Bezuidenhout, but I want to get to Daniel Berger's because his moves him up into a tie for third. He gets in at 14 under par, Greg, and we are now, okay, guys that haven't won in a couple of years. We've been putting a couple of those streaks to bed here recently. Daniel Berger is knocking on a victory here.
He's really knocking on the door. When we did our DFS portion of this show before, on Tuesday, Daniel Berger was one of the names that we had on the list. And the reason is because he's been so well-rounded lately. And what we saw this week was almost very well-rounded. He was second in the field in strokes gained tee to green for the week.
Yeah.
He was fifth off the tee, fourth approaching the green. He hit 51 greens. This was phenomenal stuff. He was second in scrambling, 18 to 21, getting it up and down. He just couldn't make anything until Sunday, when he finally he made a 30-footer, made a couple 15-footers, got some really nice putts to go, and ended up making 105 feet of putts made, which was by far his greatest total of the week. So a big turnaround on the greens for him. But what Daniel Berger did all week was exactly what we expected him to do, which was hit fairways, hit greens, and give yourself a ton of opportunities.
Yeah. DB out there, straight vibing, as many of us know.
I wanted to ask you on him, Rick.
Sure.
Should he be legitimately considered for this Ryder Cup team?
God, you know what?
Let me give you a couple numbers.
Okay.
Heading into the week, he was 19th. If my estimation is correct, he's going to move up into the neighborhood somewhere around 11, 12, 13. He should be somewhere around there. So right on the fringe of being inside the top 12 on this team.
There are a few guys that I would want in my clubhouse, like Daniel Berger, who is afraid of no man, who is easy to play with, is from both a personality wise and from a skill set, just immensely pairable. I would love for him to make the team. Should he be realistically considered? The US is very deep. I would much rather have Daniel Berger than Brian Harman. I'll tell you that for free. Who's on the team right now? Who's the top 6 right now?
All right. So top 6, we have Scottie Scheffler. You want him on the team?
Fine. If you're going to make me take him.
Xander Schauffele.
Sure.
Okay. Colin Morikawa.
Okay. He might be super soft, but yeah.
He's been good in Ryder Cups.
He's been good.
Bryson.
Yes.
Russell Henley.
I mean, yeah, I do want him.
He's number 5.
Yeah, I do want him.
There's no bias here. I'm going down the list.
I know.
Number 6. This is before the week. Points from this week don't count. Maverick McNeely, number 6.
Oh man. You think he what?
I think he's going to make the team.
Well, I guess I like it more that it's a home game. They will eat him alive. They would eat him alive over there. They would.
Yeah.
And I love Mav. They would eat him alive.
Well, I think he's all right in New York.
I think he'll be all right in New York. I do think he's kind of dangerous because the putter, right? The match play, first in win thing. And he's much improved from tee to green, but he melted in the moment today. And I know that is one round recency bias. He melted.
And the thing that really struggled was his iron play, which he's made huge improvements in this year. We could talk about that later if you want. But this is where it gets really interesting on this list.
Yeah.
Brian Harman is 7th entering the week.
Get him out.
All right. He's going to move up. He's going to be probably, anyway, he's going to be all right. JJ Spawn is 8.
No chance. He's on my team.
Justin Thomas is 9.
Sure.
Cantlay is 10.
We got to talk about him, but sure.
English is 11.
No chance.
Tom Hoge is 12.
No chance.
Lucas Glover is 13.
0 chance. I would take Berger over half of this team right now.
Billy Horschel is 14.
I like Billy, but no.
Tony Finau.
No, yeah, Berger's on this team. Berger's. Where's Brooks? Where's Brooks?
Brooks
doesn't even have any
do anything in majors last year.
Yeah,
and he didn't do anything at the Masters. He's not even. I'm not even gonna scroll down looking for him.
Yeah, then Daniel Berger's on my team.
I think he's going to be on the team.
Here's Keegan in that, and also in that, if any of those, if that's the 12-ish, Keegan should pick himself. Okay,
Keegan's 22nd. He's fallen quick because Keegan was a lot closer.
Yeah,
earlier in the year.
I remember when he was 6th or something. Okay, let's talk about Patrick Cantlay. So Patrick Cantlay, I don't even think he shows up on my leaderboard. My board's top 8 here. But Patrick Cantlay finished T13, a round of 71. That's even par, 10 under for the week. Greg, the story is the same as it was last week, the week before that, and I believe the week before that. Unbelievable ball strike. He was first off the tee. He picked up a stroke per round off the tee. 4 strokes there, 2.5 on approach. The dude, who is historically a very, very good putter, has lost the putter completely.
Rick, this is why he was my golfer of the week this week.
I loved it.
You know, we've been seeing this coming. I mean, we've been seeing the ball striking being fantastic. I mean, even Saturday's round, he was first approaching the green. I mean, just awesome ball striking. And I think he hit it. He hit it in the water at 14 today. Yeah, he hit it in the water at 14, which is tough because now, so that took a big hit on his ball striking stats. But he was at 13 under through 13, and really needed to make a push. So I give him a little credit there. You got to play that hole a little more aggressive at that point in the tournament. But this is getting to the point now where it's a potential problem. Losing 2 strokes on the greens here at a place that he's extremely comfortable, a place that was more difficult than it usually is this week. I will give him credit for that, but it is not as difficult as Augusta National, right? You don't get a pass. If somebody has a bad putting week at Augusta National, like I can look past a 1 week experience like that.
Yeah.
But when it happens here for Patrick Cantlay, a guy who loves it, it's a problem. But I will say the ball striking prowess gives him a lot of promise heading into the rest of the season. I do think he can get this fixed. And all of a sudden, these T13s, T32s, like these finishing positions are just, they are not representative of what he's done tee to green.
Dude, I'll be here for it. You're going to hear me call Patrick Cantlay's name on the grid like routinely moving forward because of everything that you're laying out. It's kind of an interesting spot for him as he tries to get that portion of his game back in order. His numbers putting here historically have been great. So again, Greg's right about that. Scottie Scheffler is on my leaderboard here, because Scottie Scheffler ended up finishing in a tie for 8th. And Greg, this was the charge that I was really worried about, because Scottie was going nuts as everybody at the top of the board was struggling. He birdies 11 and birdies 12. He makes a pretty ugly double on 15. That is the par 5. He makes a bogey on 17. He does put a circle on the card on 18. How would you look at Scottie Scheffler's week and use that for some predictions moving forward?
It's still a little bit off, but it's a lot closer.
Yeah.
I mean, Thursday's round was what we got every round from Scottie last year. It was just a matter of how often he capitalized. So we saw that from Scottie. There were periods of time during this tournament when, and today it was a great example of it, really up until 15. I mean, number one, he hit a terrible second shot. And then everything was just, it was starting straight. It was just falling to the right, just like he likes. And everything looked like it was eating up the flag all day long. And a couple instances, he misjudged the bounce and wasn't able to get it as close as he does sometimes. But I mean, he had himself in position through 14 holes. And what he missed one.
Yeah.
It was 13.
13? Yeah.
8 feet, 8 inches. That was a big moment, because I wonder if he makes that putt, he's at 15. He would have been 1 off the lead. If he's on the 15th hole with that awkward lie, because his ball was in the native area, the waist area. So it's like sandy. He's got 245 yards. He's got to hit it over the trees. There's water to the left, beneath the trees. His lead foot was not in the waist area. So it's up, like, it's not like an uphill lie where there's a slope on an angle. It's like you got a book underneath one of your feet. It's very awkward, uncomfortable. I wonder if he plays that second shot totally differently lays up if he's at 15 under.
How long would we have to go without Scottie winning for you to be like, oh, this is too long? It's an outrageous question.
I know. It's too long right now.
Really?
Yeah, but we're still so close to what we had last year. Look, if Scottie Scheffler wins twice this season, it would be, I would consider an average year based on his abilities.
I think do not quote me on this, but I swear his win line before the year started was like 4.5. And I'm pretty sure I would have taken the under because a 4-win year is an insane year. Yeah. But I'm trying to talk to expectations here, right? I'm trying to talk to the fact that he won 8, I don't know what the official count is, 8 times last year, 9 times last year. And he has played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Was this his 8th this year? This was his 8th this year.
8th this year without a win. You still got a lot of time. Again, if he Patrick one more. Well,
here's the best part about the chat is you ask these questions and in back-to-back comments you get, I'm not worried if he doesn't win for the entire year, or I'm worried if he doesn't win one more tournament, or back-to-back comments of Spieth should be there regarding the Ryder Cup. And then literally 1 second later, Spieth is terrible. Like it's just perfect. You just get a cross-section of everybody here.
It's fantastic. So we appreciate all those comments. So I'll go back to this, Rick. If he wins twice during this season, that is an average year. There's nothing to be concerned about. There's nothing to be excited about unless it's 2 majors. But if it's 2 regular events, it's somewhat basic. So if it's fewer than 2, it could be concerning. Now, if it keeps going like this, it's really hard to be concerned. Like, what is the real concern?
I mean, he's at least been like, there's always a time on Sunday where you think Scottie might win this.
He goes on Sunday runs. What he has not done is played well on Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday just seems to be like a slump day for him. So he's got to get himself a little closer to the lead going into the weekend. Like he just always seems to be like lurking, like 4 back.
Yeah.
3 back, 4 back, 5 back. And I think that's a hard place to win tournaments from regularly. Dude, he can do that, but it's a hard thing to lean on. And he's playing at a level where you're expecting wins. So I guess that's the concern.
Is he going to play? So next week is Zurich. He's not playing Zurich. Then it's Byron Nelson. He loves to play in Texas. But then the week after that is Truist, which is a signature event. And then the week after that is the PGA. Is he going to run off? And then I think the week after that is the Memorial.
I don't think Memorial's right after the PGA.
I always screw that one up. I got out over my skis there. No, it's the Charles Schwab,
which he loves to play.
And then it's the Memorial. He's not going to play all of them.
No.
So he's gonna not play either a signature event or a Texas event, which I think he wants to do all.
So if you go Truist, that would be Truist, PGA, Charles Schwab, Memorial, 4 in a row.
Yeah. What did he do? When's the last time he played 4 in a row? I could look, I guess.
So he probably plays Byron Nelson, takes Truist off, plays the PGA, plays Charles Schwab.
No. I mean, maybe, but I would, if I were him, I would go skip the Byron Nelson, play the Truist, play the PG. No, sorry. I guess I can't. I have to. Yeah. Okay. I would play Byron Nelson, Truist, PGA, take the Charles Schwab off, play the Memorial.
I think he plays PGA, Charles Schwab, Memorial 3 in a row.
Yeah, which means he's got to take off the Truist, I guess.
Which means which is at Philly Cricket Club this year,
which is sick.
Okay. So that would be my guess. He's not missing the Charles Schwab. And I guess we have a comment here that he's committed to the Byron Nelson.
Do we trust the comments?
Well, we can trust but verify.
Okay.
I can just type it into the machine here.
Into the machine? What are you, my dad?
The Google machine.
I guess he just skips the truest then, which is
yeah.
I guess he's probably going to skip a signature event somewhere along the line. Why not skip the one that is the farthest away from all of this other stuff and the one is at a brand new golf course?
AI overview. Yes, Scottie Scheffler is committed to play the CJ Cup Byron Nelson tournament at TPC Craig Ranch this year, according to an announcement from the tournament. The event will be held May 1st to May 4th.
Okay, that's pretty legit.
Yeah. AI. Can't be wrong. So I guess it's a pretty busy schedule, regardless, coming up here. Which I think has got to be a good thing for him.
Would you like to talk about any, all, or none of Xander Schauffele, Collin Morikawa, Ludvig Åberg?
Oh my goodness.
We don't have to talk about all of them. Xander did exactly what everyone expected him to do. He finished T18. He was fine. He was good, not great, on a golf course that was fine for him.
He just never got it going.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think we don't need to talk about Xander.
The one that was kind of alarming because of what we talked about on Friday. Now, maybe this is why we got shadow banned, because we had Collin Morikawa was the guy lurking. We were like, watch out for him. He shot 77. He shot 77 in round 3. We put the mush on him big time.
Bogeyed
77.
Bogeyed 1, bogeyed 11, quad on 13, bogey on 17.
And then 69 in round 3. Like, is that broken? That's a terrible round of golf. But he'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Ludvig looked exhausted. He needs to recharge literally as a robot, not as like a human. He needs to recharge.
He's got to plug in.
It's got to plug in.
Yeah,
plug him in overnight.
Ludvig is so good, but there's something missing in his game.
Emotion. Awareness. He's not aware yet.
It's like I just feel like his short game could use an upgrade, and sometimes his iron play is not as good as I want it to be.
He just needs a patch. They'll release a software update. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's what it is. A software update. That's all.
I got very lucky thanks to that 77. That Collin Morikawa shot, because I had Ludvig over Morikawa, and that was about a 7-shot lead at one point this week. And Ludvig Ludvig made birdie on the 72nd, and Collin shot a 77 on Saturday for a push. So I will absolutely take that. Sung Jae beat Straka. That's a good one for Mark. We whiffed on all these others, except of course I did have the JT winner at 20-1, which makes me feel very good.
Which is huge. Hovland clipped Spieth by a shot.
Yep.
Which it was a great matchup all week. It was really fun to watch. Disappointing. Akshay was disappointing.
I didn't
Cantlay
see
was disappointing.
Single shot from Akshay. 42nd.
Yeah, 42nd. Never got it going. Just could never get anything going. But doubles and bogey. I mean, he made 2 doubles in the first 2 rounds. He could never sustain any momentum, which he needed.
I will admit something to you. I have to confess. There was another PGA Tour event. I didn't see a single second of it. I was locked in. I have it taped. I'll go back and watch it tonight when I pull the data. But I heard there was a pretty crazy ending.
Well, there was a fan favorite in Joel Damon who was in control of this tournament. Mm-hmm. He made bogey at 13, par at 14 and 15. He bogeyed 16, bogeyed 17, at which he missed like a 2-foot putt. And he bogeyed 18 to miss out on a playoff. And I wish Mark was here. Garrick Higo wins.
Yeah. Remember when Higo won back-to-back starts on the European tour? And
yes.
Mark
Where
said,
was that?
The Canary Islands.
Yes.
Yeah. That's sick. And then he got into, then he played the US Open like the next week at Torrey. And I'm pretty sure Mark declared him the next Ernie Els, because he was like 19 years old and all that stuff. But Garrick Higo won. Garrick Higo beat out a gaggle of golfers: Alejandro Tosti, Keith Mitchell, Jeremy Paul, Michael Thorbjornsen, and Joel Damon, who all finished second. So Garrick Higo back in the winner's circle at Corrales Punta Cana.
I'm interested to see how this kind of affects these guys. Like it's great for Higo. He won at Congaree. He has an ability to pop off like no other.
That's right.
Really impressive in some starts and very much the opposite in others. But you got to have something going to go shoot 14 under and beat all these guys. But like Keith Mitchell, Michael Thorbjornsen, Alejandro Tosti, what does this do for them going forward? Because they have the game to compete in regular full field PGA Tour events. And sometimes they don't. So maybe this helps springboard them forward.
Anything else, Greg?
Nothing else from Corrales. Like you, I was locked in here on JT.
I'll go back and watch it, but I was admittedly very focused on the JT situation.
Year of the monkey. I'm telling you, it is. But Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas going back to back is pretty good for golf.
So who's next? Who's the next biggest monkey?
Well, I would have to think, and I know we just talked about him, and he shot 77 on Saturday, but I would have to think Colin Morikawa is in the mix for that. Yeah. He seems like a very likely candidate.
I think that's right. I think that's the only answer. Cantlay?
2023 Zozo for Morikawa. Last win.
Oh boy.
It was definitely the Zozo. It was either 22 or 23, which it's got to be 23.
Right.
Because he won a major in 22. Cantlay could be one. Fleetwood?
Yeah. Well, the Fleetwood monkey is perpetual. He was born with the monkey.
I mean, if Rory McIlroy had Godzilla or King Kong on his back, right? It's a full-grown gorilla on Tommy Fleetwood's back. It would be great to see that come off.
What are you supposed to do if you encounter a gorilla? I know there's different types of, like, if it's a bear, like a brown bear. If it's brown, lay down.
Lay down. Yeah.
If it's black, fight back. If
it's white, good night.
Exactly. So what do you do if you encounter a gorilla?
Maybe like offer a handshake?
Tips on encountering gorilla in the wild. Oh, gorillas hate looking directly into their eyes. So try as much as possible to look away. Don't make eye contact with a gorilla.
Just ignore it.
Ignore it. A silverback. Ignore the silverbacks.
Wow.
Maintain a safe distance. Avoid direct eye contact. Stay calm and quiet. That's easier said than done. Act submissive. Oh, how about this one? Don't smile or flash your teeth. Gorillas may see this as a sign of aggression.
Oh, like gritting, like you're growling at them.
Don't run. Stay with your group. This one's weird. I'm just going to read it. It says groom the gorilla. And then it says, if a gorilla grabs you, you can try to distract it by grooming its arm.
Oh, you pet it.
Get the hell out of here.
Nice gorilla. Nice gorilla.
You are out of your mind if you think I'm going to start petting a gorilla's arm while it's grabbed me.
That's an absolutely terrifying thought. I'm extremely uncomfortable that we even looked this up, but I guess I know you just ignore it and stay calm.
Yeah, I mean, this could save someone.
Yes. If you're on a jungle safari somewhere and you run into a gorilla, stay calm and look away.
Well, especially if you're so they live in the dense forests of East, Central, and Western Africa. So I don't think we have much of an issue here, Greg. I think we're going to be okay here. But if I do ever get over to East, Central, or Western Africa, I will keep this all in mind.
Yeah, or if Planet of the Apes happens, or if there's a big zoo breakout or something.
That's true. Or if we wait enough time, maybe the continents will come back together and they'll start roaming again.
If we're here to see that, I'm not sure we'll be podcasting about golf anymore.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. The other thing that I need to remind everyone is that next week is the Zurich Classic. And that, Greg, is a team event. And Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry are going to try to defend.
I think we got to refer to this as a partner event.
Oh, okay.
Instead of team. I was thinking about this today. Is it a two-man team? I suppose it is, but it's really, we got partner golf. We got alternate shot. We got better ball. It's a fun tournament to break down. It's much more casual. But as you saw in Full Swing with Rory and Shane Lowry, it can be very meaningful to these players. And you never know what somebody's going to draw from it. So I'm always fascinated by this, and it's a fun tournament to talk about, fun tournament to cover. We'll have fun with our predictions and picks next week. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, we are going to have fun. Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. I am hopeful that we will not get dinged and taken down from YouTube. We didn't do anything wrong here, right? I mean, come on. I've watched things on YouTube that are way worse than what we have done here tonight.
Yes. Now, Friday
we were out of line on Friday.
Oh, Rick, we're way too well behaved to be banned from anything.
All right. Well, let's fingers crossed. Well, listen, it's available in all your pod feeds. Hopefully you'll be able to watch this on YouTube for the foreseeable future. But for now, I'm going to say a big thanks to producer Mina doing all the hard work behind the scenes. That right there, it's Greg DuCharme. You can find him at The Real GFD. You can find me at Rick Rungood. This has been The Second Cut. We'll catch you next time.